And so you either have no choice but to sell your soul and become evil and play it as a career path, or do it through an independent means like you're doing. It's just not the arena for everybody.
Yeah. I think that's accurate.
My frustration with that world, and the reason I ask you is because I knew you'd have some juicy stuff on this topic, but my frustration as an individual is there's no room for nuance in politics.
Oh, you nailed it, man.
I want to live in a world where I can sit down and talk to a person of your intelligence level. And I know that if we just wanted this to be an episode on policy and what's going on in the world and Black Lives Matter and Trump and these things and try to break that down, we could have a great discussion.
Yeah.
Because you have the capacity for nuance. You have the ability to accept a statistic that you might be unaware of, an angle or perspective that is outside of your own, because you're an expansive human being who's arrived at this destination of who you are today as a result of doing that your entire life. Unfortunately, it seems that the rules of politics are laid out in a way where there's just absolutely no room for nuance. You must associate yourself to an ideology, to a label, to a specific way of thinking. These are just very specific reality tunnels that people are in. And then what happens, of course, is the people that are listening fall into the same trap. And so I'm at a point where I know it's an important time to be active, but I don't see an opportunity. I don't see a way that I can even engage with individuals outside of my own show where I can express this opinion freely. Please, God, let that not go away. That's the only opportunity and path I see. Does that resonate?
Yeah. No, it's well, I'll give you a little tiny thing, which is why I didn't say the T word or the person. Is not long ago, So I want to comment directly on nuance in a second, but I'm going to get there a little bit indirectly, which is my wife and I did a podcast episode for one of my shows. And she's a really deep, expansive thinker, a really interesting person. As I like to say, I like her. I don't just love her. I like her, you know? And we were talking about some politics, and I tried to boost that video on YouTube. And they wouldn't let me do it because it was political. They marked as political. And it's like, so their voice recognition system decided that we were talking about, and it's like, we actually weren't. All I said is, back in the days when you could have a decent conversation, it wasn't that long ago, an intellectual conversation and discourse. And what we've got is a lot of lowest common denominator, low frequency operating system, ignoramuses running around that have crafted a low standard and all the things that you said. So I'm going to turn this to a positive note, which is this topic of nuance.
Yes. And
I appreciate the kind words, by the way. I feel the same way about you. And that is, I've become a Reddit addict lately. I subscribe to Reddit, and of course there's a lot of stupidity on there. But the good thing about it is really smart people beat the hell out of the morons, and the top voted messaging, it's really worth checking out, because every topic you can possibly imagine.
Every person that tells me to check it out is smart. So this is a hint I need to follow.
It's really good. So here's what you can do. First of all, I support it. So I give them it's $10 a month to get rid of all the ads. And then they give you coins, and you can reward things that you think are good, and they go to the top of the heap, including comments. The comments are genius and brilliant, and like in the investment or marketing categories or whatever, you get really, really smart, well-schooled people who normally wouldn't have a voice, and they'll provide evidence and support. Now, there's a bunch of dirtbags and morons on there too, but I just don't belong to those groups, and you just subscribe to the channels that are interesting to you, and because there's so much activity, it's like, you know, you're never bored. And I've learned that I'm getting substantially better news from that than I am from everything else. And even though I don't watch television, I don't have any cable any longer other than data. I do read the New York Times every day. I check out Wall Street Journal, and then I subscribe to Apple News, which has turned into a giant pile of crap.
I can't get it to give me what I want at all anymore. It's just a mess.
It's a bunch of politically correct crap.
Yeah,
it's
it's
just
crap.
garbage.
Yeah.
And I don't know who's running it right now, but it's the morality police and the whatever.
I can't take it.
No. So, but there's bits and pieces, and I like to pay attention to what's going on. But here's the point of all this stuff. In Reddit, there was this conversation about how can you tell if someone's really brilliant and smart. And the number one most upvoted thing was an understanding of nuance, the ability to contain, multiple points of view that can be conflicting simultaneously, seeing that both of them are true. But one of the things I've gotten into the habit of lately is I stopped on a business level writing proposals. I only communicate. So here are my rules of business. And I'm, the packages I sell now start at $50,000. They go up to $250,000 or more. There's no info marketing, no events any longer. It's just one-on-one, highly customized experiences. And in order to communicate with me, I will not talk on the phone. We have to do it by Zoom or FaceTime. So I have to see you, hear you. I need to own your eyes, mind, and fingers simultaneously. So that's rule number one. I know I'm paying attention. When we communicate, I ask if it's okay. I said, what we're going to share here, if it's okay with you, I'd like to record it and I'll share the link with you. I'd also like to transcribe it if that's okay. So I turn on Otter and I can watch their words while I listen to them. They can do it too. I share my screens if they want to. And then we have a conversation. And then I don't write proposals. I send videos. Why do I do that? Because
in here
I tell them, yes. So it's impressive looking. That's one thing. But also I can tell the story, recapping everything that we talked about in a way that's packaged for their significant other or another decision maker. I'm not reliant on someone else telling my story.
Interesting.
Now, why is that relevant to this whole thing? First of all, there's nuance. And I open up every video saying the reason I'm giving you a video and not a written proposal is because there's nuance in what I'm about to share with you. And for you to hear my tonality and hear what and why, I can communicate a lot more information in a short period of time that can't be typed or written or misunderstood or not passed along as a full package.